Now, the next thing you want to make sure you get really right in scale is your IT policies. And this is where I know it gets a bit boring, but businesses start to think about security, they start to think about IT policy, they start to think about having standardized ways of doing things with the hardware, with the software, with the processes, with the way that everybody works. And those policies begin being enforced in the scale stage. The scale stage is really about making sure that the technology strategy is going to be embedded in absolutely everyone inside the company. So yes, this is the stage where some businesses will switch off Facebook on the work computers, or they'll, lock down local machines from being able to install new apps, as an example. And I'm not really a fan of that kind of like old school IT thinking of what can we control and command. What I think is, how do we make everyone's jobs easier? That's the framework and that's the perspective that you want to come from. How can we make sure that our team is set up for success, and how can we make sure that what we're putting in place for them, the tools that we're putting in place for them, are going to make their jobs as easy as possible? Well, things that you can do inside of the Google world, let me show you a couple of these that I have on my machine, are things like a basic Chrome policy. When I open a new tab inside my Google Chrome, if I click the links button here, you can see I've got a list of company bookmarks. And those company bookmarks have been set by the business, and everybody gets access to those. When I open up my Google Drive, because I've got everyone set up into groups inside the organization, when I go into my shared drives here inside of Google Drive, I'm actually going to be able to see all of the different shared files and shared folders between each different person inside the business. And it's just taking its time to load up here. Oops, I've got to actually click the right button. That would help. So when I open my shared drives here, I'm going to see all of the shared drives that have been shared with the different groups inside the business. And I know that all of these files are automatically secured because they're using group-based permissions rather than just sharing with individuals. The next thing that scale companies will want to take care of as they're starting to grow is operationalizing their leadership. And again, we're going to go way back to what we talked about earlier with shared task management systems. Here's where we start using some of the advanced features of a shared system, like goals, like milestones, like capacity planning, like Gantt charts, and really getting the strategy of the business operationalized so it becomes a part of how everybody works together. So that's what we're focusing when we get right up to the scale stage, and that is what those businesses face. Now, the great thing is that many of these businesses in the scale phase will actually start to build internal technology capabilities. And a business like ours, an external consultancy, will help supplement that internal skill set. What we know is that most businesses have an IT, when they actually employ someone inside and start building out that IT team, they're probably going to be like half doing something else. They might be half managing your digital, or they might be half managing your website, or they might be, half managing some hardware or some products and half doing IT. Now, unless that person has their whole role dedicated to actually being an IT person, they're either going to have some blind spots, or they're just literally going to run into some capacity issues. And so that's where a team like ours can be helpful for senior support. If there's something internally that can't be resolved, that can be palmed off to us to have taken care of by our concierge team. Or if you're onboarding and offboarding staff and you want to make sure that mailboxes are properly archived, they're the kind of things that our team tend to help out with scale type businesses as well. We also help out with strategy, so you don't have to spend hours and hours reading the instruction manual or reading the Google Help Guides to work out how to do something best practice. We've worked with literally thousands of companies and implemented G Suite into thousands of those businesses, and each one of those has the unique way of doing things, but also very, very many commonalities between those businesses. And so for a larger organization, we can bring that best practice to rolling out Google or other internal software tools. So we've covered off scale. Now it's time to talk about accelerate. And this is where a team really, really gets liftoff. Now, the most important thing for these businesses is compliance, security, and safety. And that's where we start thinking about some of the enterprise tools inside the Google Suite. Now, with the G Suite Enterprise Edition, you can do things like data loss prevention. And data loss prevention is about making sure you don't have any secure data internally inside the business make its way out of the business. And so you can set up rules for certain bits of information, like maybe Medicare numbers or credit card numbers or personal information on your customers. And if someone were to accidentally put that in an email and hit send inside your organization, well, that's automatically going to be stopped and quarantined before it actually leaves the business. and you can check that as a technology team before it actually gets sent out. So we tend to be setting up those kind of things. Other policies like, recording your G Suite meetings inside of Google Meet and automatically saving those into Google Drive are a great feature of the G Suite Enterprise plan. There's also some other features of the business plan like Google Vault, which become really relevant to larger organizations. Here it's really about protecting every single bit and byte of data and making sure that nothing can possibly get lost, because a lost piece of data might be a PR disaster, it might be a potential lawsuit, maybe someone's health becomes at risk. You want to make sure that that just has near zero chance of happening, and that's where the more advanced and enterprise tools start to happen. Now, these larger scale businesses are also likely to be rolling out different bits of technology for business units. So it might be a software solution for selling, like a CRM system for a sales team. It might be something for a operations team. It might be some particular automations or a dashboard for one business unit, or maybe if you're a franchise network and you've got a whole bunch of franchisees, you might be setting up intranets or dashboards for them. These all make sense for these larger organizations as you're growing and scaling. Or you may be partnering with us for training. If you're interested in actually training your teams and making sure that they're all making the best use of the tools that you've put in place, then that's another area that you'd probably be focusing on once you're really in that acceleration path that the business is taking off. So let me know how that has set with you guys. I'm interested in what you thought about this kind of model and this framework of businesses, how it relates to technology. If you think there's anything I've missed, please go ahead and drop it below. I'd love to know, and of course I'll be answering any questions that you have in the comments. If you're at all interested in getting in touch with our team, please go ahead and jump onto the link below to talk to our team about Concierge or how we may be able to be helping you with any of these stages of business. Now, we exclusively work with businesses who are either in the Google ecosystem or are interested in transitioning into the Google ecosystem. And so we don't touch Microsoft stuff, we don't touch Amazon Web Services. We are a Google focused business because we know the kind of businesses that work with Google are more likely to be agile and are more likely to be ambitious about their growth and have a, let's say, a googly way of doing business. And so if you are one of those businesses, you should definitely have a chat to our team and see if we're a good fit to work together. And if you haven't already joined our business community, we have a free community for G Suite. You can go ahead and jump onto that below, and that link down there will take you into our community page where we do more videos like this. You get early access to new frameworks and systems that we release, and there's an amazing community there of other business owners in the Google world, all using Google tools to keep their teams productive and grow better businesses. So I'm going to say goodbye now. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you so much for being a part of this, and I look forward to catching you guys in the next one. Thanks for being here, and I will see you guys soon.